3. Hello. Okay, anybody out here? N1 DBL? Come on, the big unveiling tonight. Everybody gonna watch their TV? This is N1 Delta Victor Lima. Hello, radio. N1 Delta Victor Lima calling CQ. Hello, CQ. Hello, CQ. Hello, CQ. Hello, CQ. Hello, CQ. Hello, CQ. From N1 Delta Victor Lima. Hello CQ, hello CQ, hello CQ. From N1 Delta Victor Lima.
Devil radio, where is the devil? And one devil, the devil man. Calling the devil, calling the devil. Calling the devil, where are you, devil?
Okay, it's almost 8 o'clock. Everybody in here? Hello, radio. And Victor, Lima. Anybody around?
Kilo Alpha 1, Zulu Romeo Tango. Ron in Maine, waiting for you guys to put on the show.
The Randy and Ray show?
Whatever show you're going to do tonight. It doesn't matter.
Now you have cable, right?
No. I am a cord cutter. I got a antenna on the rooftop, and I get over the air. I don't get cable, but I do buy Sling, which is like $15 a month. It was the trial thing, so I do get a little bit of that. Why?
Can you get the History Channel?
I'm not sure. Don't watch it much. Although I was watching one thing about Einstein today on was PBS channel about how time, if you're next to the coast, they took two clocks and they put one clock that was atomic clock next to the ocean. Then they went up to New Hampshire. I forget the mountain, but and then they went for 4 days to see if there was a time difference between these two clocks that were in sync. And actually, time goes faster on the top of a mountain compared to the ocean.
Okay, well, here's what you got to do. You have to go find out right now if you can get the History Channel, because tonight they're supposed to be doing the great unveiling, and they're going to tell you that flying saucers are real.
I've heard this discussion, and I always thought maybe, just maybe, the military has another top-level security thing, that these guys that are flying, these Navy guys that are supposedly seeing things, and they're testing them. I mean, they don't have the security clearance for these guys going. I saw it on the screen, this little blip and stuff. But do you think that's possible, or do you think it's definitely UFO?
Well, I have an open mind, so I would say yes, it is possible that those craft belong to us, but we didn't develop them. We got them from the crashed alien spacecraft. So even though we may now have access to those type of vehicles, we did not develop them. They were brought here by real aliens. So I'm sure aliens exist, because about a week ago, not even a week, 3 or 4 days ago, on Fox News, they had one of the bigwigs from the government come on and say that, watch the show. The show's going to be the unveiling, and finally the U.S. government's going to tell the truth that aliens are real. And he was on the show, and he said they're here. He said aliens are here, and they are real, and they have been for a very long time. And the show's going to be on, Friday night at 10 o'clock. Make sure you watch it.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested. No, with a billion stars, billion planets, I mean, the universe is just humongous. I mean, we might only be a little speck in the, I'm sure we are just a little speck. And for us to think everything revolves around us is crazy. There's no doubt there's more intelligent life. The show I was watching today was about Einstein, and it was just how incredibly smart he was. And it was like, it got me to thinking, how can somebody come down, be born on Earth, and be so smart, and the rest of us are so stupid? I mean, we think, oh yeah, we hang an antenna in a tree, and, feed line, and we talk on the radio, and we're real smart. But you're talking about Einstein or Tesla or any of these guys, it's like some people just have this gray matter that we don't have, and why is that? And so to think that somebody from another planet or somebody in the universe has this ability, and I'm sure they could come here and be invisible, and we wouldn't even know it. I mean, if they were all that good, we wouldn't catch them. They wouldn't crash or anything, and I'm sure they've been here, like you said, and, maybe one time somebody did crash, and we have their spaceship, and that's what we're flying around, and it's very top secret, and they're testing these Navy pilots to see if they can tell, and one of these Navy guys ended up seeing this little bleep but it was one of our own guys flying maybe this, this UFO, spaceship that had crashed, years ago. I don't doubt that. You got to have an open mind. I said you have an open mind too, so, that's good.
Yeah, but you just made a huge mistake. You just said that the universe doesn't revolve around the Earth. That could get your head chopped off, burned at the stake.
Yeah. Well, everybody's got different thoughts, and, you got to be open-minded, and I'm open-minded, When you get to conspiracy theories, I hear some people say, there's these chemtrails that these jets are going through, and you see these things, they're brainwashed. I don't believe that. But when I look up at the stars, and I think that we're not the only one here, I mean, it doesn't take much imagination to say, no, there's more here than just us here on Earth. It's kind of like we're a little freak of nature, and we've got these little, trees and plants, and easily, if we screw it up, we could just be a little dust ball like the moon.
I'd be willing to bet you any amount of money that if the truth were known, or we finally go to Mars, you will find that there's all kinds of life on Mars. It may not be life like us now, but I think there were probably people like us on Mars, a billion years ago. I don't think they're there now, but I think there's still plenty of life there. I think there's life anywhere. I think you could go to any moon or any planet that's got any kind of heat or water on it, and there's some form of life on it.
I agree with you. You probably remember when you were a kid, and you got a microscope, and you got a little bit of water, pond water, and you put it under the microscope, and you look, and there's all this life going back and forth, all these different little things. What are these things? There's so much life, just on Earth. Never mind on all these planets and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty, egotistical to think that we're the only one in the universe, and, the problem with it is it gets into religion and the Bible, and people say, well, no, God created the earth. No, God created probably the universe, if you want to believe in a superior being. It's all what different people believe, and a lot of times religion gets into it.
God was an alien. If you go back 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 years, all these people have seen stuff in the skies, have seen these people come down to Earth and walk out of their spaceships. That's what they were. They were aliens.
And I agree with you. I've read the Bible a little, and it's like, wow, how could somebody so far back have such a calm, the way it should be, calm and order, and love your fellow man, and do this and do that, and it was like they were so much more educated than we are today, whereas we're kind of wanted to conquer this country, shut this country down, and do all this. Where back then, you read the Bible, and it's a lot of stuff that you have to scratch your head and say, wow. So yeah, God could very well be a supreme alien, and he came down, tried to show us how to live here, and then said, well, I'll leave them to be. I told them how to do it. If they don't, then that's their own problem, So, yeah, you have to have an open mind, and you do, so that's a good thing.
Hang on, I'm doing something. 1 second. Okay, yeah, I'm done. Anyway, who else is in here? It's past 8 o'clock. The whole group should be here by now.
Yeah, I'm going to get on the side down. Yeah, I just heard you come in there, and usually tune in around this time to hear you guys. So, K1, CRT, I'll be listening.
KT2D, just stopping in. I'll be here for a little bit.
Please, 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 don't tell me that you're going to do your skit.
Okay, I won't say it.
You really have to give that up. You've outgrown it.
Well, it keeps my CW skills up a little bit. So, how was your day today, Raymond?
Pretty kind of boring. I didn't really do much. Yeah, it was boring. Beautiful day though. Actually, a little bit too warm. I did a few little errands. I did drive around and do some errands today. So I was just looking. I don't know how I came up with this, and I don't know if it's even right or not. But a 3/8 wave should be a 200 ohm antenna, 190.87 feet, 222.68. That's 7/16 wave. That's 707 ohms. And a half wave is 2,500 ohms. I don't know how I came up with those figures, and I don't even know if they're right. But your antenna should be probably around 700 ohms, I would think. So are you using, when you build your Toad Harbor line, are you going to make it 4-inch spacing or 2-inch? I would make it 4.
Well, yeah, I hope so, because I was able to get to Harbor Freight today and pick up, between Harbor Freight and Home Depot, pick up all the stuff. So it's the 4-inch rib spaces that Randy sent me the specs on.
Please tell me, you didn't buy the cable ties at Home Depot, did you?
No, why?
Can't use them. They won't pull up tight.
No, I got them at, they had some at the Tractor Supply store, but I didn't get a lot of them. I'd have to head to, hold on a second, Harbor Freight to get those.
Definitely get the ones at Harbor Freight, and they have to be 11 inches long.
Yep, I knew that. And so I got the number 10 wire, and I didn't have enough masonry line, so I picked that up. So it just was too windy here today. I got home, and by the time I got home from everything, it was, 5:30, almost 6. And then it was still windy as hell, so the first light tomorrow, it's supposed to be calm in the morning, so I get everything set up. I'll shoot my line, and then we'll go from there.
Right, well, build that big feed line. That's the one thing you got to do. Build that, and remember that left-hand terminal from the front. The left-hand terminal's the ground.
Yep. What do you guys use for spacing on the spacers?
I use 2-inch because it just seems more logical because it matches the dipole better. But John, who's the electrical engineer, uses like 6-inch spacing. And I asked him one time, why so wide? And he said because it gives a better match. So I wouldn't even screw around. Cutting those things is just a gigantic pain in the neck. Just make them 4 inches. If I did it again, I would make them 4.
Yeah, I'm going to make it 4. So the other thing is how far apart. I think on Randy's, video there showed he had a jig, a wooden jig to show the spacing of it. I just couldn't remember off the top of the head what it is.
I do 8 inches, and that's the right spacing. I wouldn't go more than 8 inches, 10 inches max, but 8 works the best, especially if that's not solid wire.
Really, 8 inches? Boy, that's, I may have to get another bag of these things, but okay, got it.
Just use your hand width apart.
Yeah, thumb to pinky. That's about 10 inches. That'll work.
Okay, spread my hand out, thumb to pinky, got it.
Hey, KD1 Mountain Whiskey. I did it that way, and it worked out good. I used 2-inch, though, and I had no problem cutting them because I used my bandsaw and just set up a guide on it and had it done in not long at all.
Yeah, but the problem is those spacers aren't exactly 4 inches long. They're like 1.9 something, so you have to cut them slightly smaller than 2 inches.
You just cut them in half.
Cut them in half. Yeah, how do you cut them in half when they're not exactly the right? They're not all like 4 inches.
You figure out how long half is, and you set up a little guide you bump them up against, and then you run them through your miter gauge. And it takes just zip, 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 zip.
Yeah, I realize that. I did something like that with a piece of wood and a little mark on a wood, and I just cut them with a sharp razor blade.
Yeah, but you really need a bandsaw for that type of thing. It's safest and quickest. But to do it by hand, it's a pain in the ass. I'd use the full 4-inch if I was doing it by hand.
Yeah, I would use the full 4-inch. I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think in Bob's case, he's going to pick up performance probably because that feed line's will certainly lower loss than the one he had. And of course, if he gets the wire over the trees right, that'll be even better. And then take down all your other antennas, and then you'll be the king.
Elevated from court jester to king, huh?
That's right. That's just about right. Well, you're king, you know. Well, we can make you. What's a 1-star general called? Is that a brigadier general?
Yeah, very good, Ray. Brigadier general or a commodore.
Yeah, but you want to think twice about being on top.
A 1-star general's not on top. Wait, a 1-star general's not on top. Randy suggested that we have a 7-star general for the top here on the Toad Harbor net.
Actually, we could just use a rank that isn't used in this country, and that'll be Marshal, and so that outranks everything.
So the Stalin's head guy, he was a marshal, wasn't he?
Yeah, Georgy Zhukov was a marshal. The Germans had marshals, the old Prussian rank, and the Brits have marshals. So we don't do that.
Yeah, we have martial law here on the Toad Harbor net.
Yeah, we'd have to be chopping off heads.
We could follow like Idi Amin Dada, president for life, or emperor for life, wasn't he? Wasn't that his rank or something?
Yep, that's what I would do too. Yeah, Idi Amin. He was him, Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, Saddam Hussein. Yeah, they were all interesting characters. You know, I would have loved to be sitting there. I would have loved to have had a chat with Saddam Hussein when he was walking down to get hung. I wonder how that went over with him.
Ray, you're a cold man. Yeah, just people, you got to wonder that they have to be sociopaths or something, that he and his 2 sons, Uday and Kudse, whatever their names were, they seem to delight in just committing horrible acts themselves personally as well. So, there's some sociopath here. I mean, they're just not right.
Well, that's exactly what I was saying. That's why, see, my whole thinking was, let me explain my thinking and see if this clears it up for you. I would like to see if Saddam was snapped back into reality when he was making that walk down to the hangman's noose.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's really interesting because that's when, if you're not going to see the true person at that point, I don't know.
I'm surprised that he was in that hole they found him in. I can't believe that he couldn't have got out of there.
Well, a tyrant like that who, brutalized his own people. I mean, he even gassed his own people, for crying out loud. So I'm sure when guys like that, when their power base and their reign of terror, and they lose power, I think he had to stay in disguise and camouflage and incognito as much, for his own people as he did for the coalition forces.
Yeah, well, look at Gaddafi. They ran him down in his motorcade, and he got out and was hiding in some big pipes, and they dragged him out of the pipes, and he was just like a little meek guy, and they just shot him.
Yeah, Himmler, tried to escape wearing a private uniform. The Italians, grabbed Mussolini.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess that's really what it boils down to in the end. You've made so many enemies by that point, there's nowhere safe to go.
And there was a guy, I'm going to get his name wrong, but the dictator in Romania, Ceausescu, I'll get it wrong, but him and his wife, when they executed them, they were trying to run and, just scrambling around. They just, a real tough guy dictator, and then when the moment of truth comes, he's just whimpering.
Who executed him? His people or the military?
I'm not sure. I know that when Romania fell, I don't think it was a military coup, but it was whoever, subsumed the government. I'm assuming it may have been the military right away. I better not say because I just don't know. But it was Romanians. It was whatever was left of the government or the interim government when the communist dictatorship fell.
Hey, what happened with that Navy SEAL today? I saw they let him out of jail. He's still got to go to court, though, right? But they let him out of jail?
No, I didn't see anything on it, so somebody else may have. KT Tootie.
N1 DBL. No, they definitely let him out of jail. Remember he was in solitary confinement for the last 6 or 8 months?
I remember I didn't know anything about it until I heard you guys talking about it here, and I was just dumbfounded that what the heck was going on there. So, yeah.
Well, I think he finally got somebody. I think he got the president behind him because the judge in the case heard some stuff from the prosecutor. They didn't turn over really important evidence to the defense. So he let him out of jail today. So he was reunited with his wife, and he's out on his own recognizance, which he's still got to go through the trial. But I find it inconceivable that high-ranking military officers would find him guilty unless they've been threatened.
Yeah, so I have sat on a number of courts-martial, and I've conducted a number of what are called Article 32 investigations. If you're going to go to a general court-martial, there's 3 levels of courts-martial, and so the general is the highest. Before you can convene a general court-martial, you have to do what's called an Article 32 investigation. So for like felonies in the civilian world, you got a grand jury indictment. Well, in the military, it's an Article 32. It's Article 32 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So anyway, and you need a field grade officer, a major or above, to conduct that, to determine if there's a sufficient amount of evidence to warrant a general court-martial, a trial by general court-martial. Anyway, so you got to go through all that. And I'll tell you, I've been through, I've had to do a number of those. And I can tell you, at least from my experience and all the courts-martial that I've sat on or been involved in, when what they call the trial counsel, which is basically the military's version of the DA, the government's attorney that's bringing charges against the guy, they start mucking around and not disclosing evidence in a timely manner to the defense, the military judge will throw that case out, and if he doesn't, the Court of Military Appeals will overturn any convictions. I mean, they're just playing, they're doing something stupid. So something just doesn't sound right in that whole thing.
No, I agree. I mean, the whole thing smelled right from the beginning, but I just find it inconceivable that kind of crap goes on in the military.
Well, Yeah, we can talk someplace else.
Right, okay.
KDC. If anybody else is trying to get in here.
Yeah, N1 DVL.
In a few minutes, T-minus 11 minutes, I'll be going off to do my primary duty as the second region rep to the Eastern Area CWNet, much to Ray's consternation.
Does anybody ever answer?
Oh, yeah, no, it's a flurry of activity there.
Oh, my word. Oh, man, that's hard to believe. Hard to believe they even use CW.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when the conditions are bad, you got to hand it to the old CW. It gets through. Of course, a lot of these modern ones like Pactor now. I mean, I've been in. They've got with automatic error correction and things like that. It's pretty amazing that sometimes. Excuse me, I don't even hear the signal. I can't even hear the signal, and it's coming through. It picks it up. It's pretty amazing, some of this weak signal stuff with error correction, and pretty neat. But I'll tell you, Ray, there are less and less of the telegraphers. A lot of these folks are vets from Navy and Air Force and Army that were telegraphers in the Korean War and some before, and believe it or not, I'm one of the younger folks there.
Right, but you obviously type, correct?
What do you mean?
Can you run a typewriter?
Yeah, I like to do that, but right now I'm a little lazy. So on traffic nets, they're generally between like 18 and 25 words a minute, so I can copy to about 25. Any faster than that, and then I need to type.
But what I'm saying is, if you're going to use digital communications, you'd be way better off just typing it out on a typewriter, wouldn't you?
Well, that's what you do. When you use Pactor, you compose a message as a text file, and then it gets sent automatically. I just keep the CW up. When all that stuff goes down, I can still, with a Spark transmitter in my post-apocalyptic survival mode, I just do it for me. If nothing else, I enjoy CW, and it's kind of an interesting mode. And because you send things characters by characters, a lot of people don't clutter up the QSO with a lot of idle chit-chat.
Are you going to watch this thing tonight at 10 o'clock?
Oh, yeah. And I've been watching the lead up to it just before I came down here, watching the usual Friday sheath of Ancient Aliens. I just find that stuff fascinating, and I'm convinced that all of our religions are based on alien encounters.
Absolutely, positively. There's the answer right there. That's it.
Have you ever seen the film Prometheus? It's kind of a follow-up to the Aliens kind of stuff, the Ridley Scott, but Prometheus is kind of interesting. Have you ever seen that one?
Say again. I didn't get it.
Prometheus, the movie. It's a follow-up to. It's kind of a follow-on to the Aliens things, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I've watched it. I don't know if I watched the whole thing. I think I watched it. That's where they go back. They go in that spaceship and they try to land, and the big wave comes and they get out of sync and they lose time and something. Is that it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I saw it on the other night. Next time I see it, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff in there, and I was going to send you a link to somebody that explained the movie, because Ridley Scott puts a lot of stuff hidden in there, and but anyway, they talk about the engineers who created us, and they actually sent their emissary, who was Jesus Christ, because we were kind of losing our way. So the ones who created us sent him down to straighten us out, and we crucified
I'm not seeing any really big signals tonight. It's I guess it's because the sun's staying up so much later. Bruce, how come you're not saying anything? Are you, Bruce? Don't tell me you're driving yourself crazy working on that thing from what's his name?
Yeah, how's my signal, Ray? I was outside trying to get my string trimmer working. But how's the signal without the amp?
Everybody's signal's about the same, 10/9, which isn't really very good.
I don't have the amplifier on right now.
Okay, well, you'd be 20/9, so that's still not good for you. You're usually 30, 40/9, 50. Well, I've seen you as high as 45, even 50, I think. And this radio has a tight S meter, so if you're hitting 45/9 on this, you'd be 60/9 on that 7610.
All right, there's a little more smoke up the stack.
Yeah, that's about 20/9.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, no, I'm still involved with that, Ray. I've been working like crazy on it, and I got a deadline, so I got to get the thing finished and in a shipping box in 3 weeks, so lots to do.
How much of your own money did you put into that?
None of my own money. All my expenses and my labor for building it are being covered.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes me feel a lot better.
But the time spent doing testing and calculating and design work, I'm donating, which is probably just as much as it took to build it.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys. I got to step out, and sorry, Ray. I hit the knob here, and I was wondering why I didn't hear anybody, and I was off frequency. But I'll be back in a minute after I finish my public service duties.
Okay, well, announce yourself when you come back.
Yes, sir.
That's more like it. Okay. N1DBL.
KT2D.
Yeah, I got terrible 20 over static here tonight.
Yes, it's pretty noisy here also. Were you in there the other night when I swept my antenna with the MFJ and the Ballon, and I came up with 0 reactance and 1.7-to-1 Viswar?
I was not there, but what frequency?
Right about here. 1.925 is where it's tuned. 1.7-to-1 with 0 reactance. You can almost get 0 reactance here too. So how do you like that? Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, you're right on. What's the, did you hook it up to the feed line directly and read the impedance?
I hooked it up to about 3 feet of silver-plated Teflon coax, the MFJ into a hand-wound, in a box, 1-to-1 balance, got a lot of turns on it. John told me how to check that, and I did. I put a 50-ohm resistor across it, and it's flat, completely flat. So according to John, that means it was working. And I screwed the antenna on that, and that's what I came up with. Well, at the lowest point, it's 80 ohms. The antenna's about 80 ohms.
Well, you're at the end of the feed line. Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty impressive, considering how long the antenna is, but, it looks like it's fairly resonant.
Yeah, well, that's your system is, so including the feed line. So you can throw a lot of power into it.
Now I need a bigger amplifier. I need twin amplifiers. I need quad amplifiers. I got to get more and more.
Well, it's a balanced feed line. You need push-pull. You need a pair of them.
Yeah, I need lots of power. Lots and lots of power.
Well, you're almost there with what you have.
Yeah, you're 30/9 now. So your signal's coming up.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little darker here. The days are really long, though. I mean, at 4 o'clock in the morning, you can walk around outside.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to see it. Be kind of interesting to get on at, say, 1 or 2 in the morning. Say 1 o'clock. I think the band goes a little longer. We got to try to get Matt out there tonight. See if we can get Matt to come in. Of course, we're very noisy. Probably wouldn't be able to hear him.
Yeah, well, if I ever wake up at 2 in the morning, I'll come out here. I'll give you a call.
Yeah, okay. That's if I'll probably be awake. I'd really kind of think if we all put up verticals and did them right, I think the performance on the verticals would be very good.
Yeah, they should be. Lower angle, probably in close wouldn't be as good, but heck, I mean, we always hear Gary down there when he wants to come in.
Yeah, of course he's further, but he's not that far. But the thing is, on the tower, if the tower we're going to put up, what you do is you put the extra off the top, the 192 or 200 feet off the top, so you use it as a always going to run it from now on, always going to run it as a 3/8 wave, because that's going to give you, it brings your, it makes the ground system much more efficient.
Well, you don't need as much of a ground fish. I guess the higher up your feed point, impedance on the bottom goes, the less critical the ground system is.
Exactly. So, like even a half wave. Let me get my little book here. I'm going to look at that pattern again on all those antennas.
KA2 EXB checking in.
EXB, KD1 Mountain Whiskey.
Okay, very good. Name is Steve. We're in Albany. We're in the background here listening. Over.
Yeah, I got you through the static pretty good.
You're okay, running about a kilowatt with a half-wave dipole at 6, inverted V at 60 feet, and you're sounding pretty good also. Over.
Okay, fine business. Is the sun gone down in Albany yet?
Well, still a little bit left. Where are you?
I'm out in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay, very good. Yep, no, still a little light left.
Yeah. Yeah, I got 30 over static crashes tonight. Terrible.
The very short vertical still gives about the best pattern.
Oh, yeah. You mean the right angle?
Well, it gives you a lot of energy up around, let's see, 15, 30, 45, 60, 70, 80. No, that's not right. I got to figure out how many spaces. Give me 1 second here.
All right, while you're talking, I think I'm going to try to get my little vertical back on the roof again, just to try it out. Tune it up again.
Yeah, the very short vertical looks good. I was reading an article again, that one on the wire, the different types of wire. I think you probably have read that. It's by N6LF, Rudy Severns, and it's about the different types of wire and how lossy they are at different frequencies. And he goes into the vertical, where the antenna will become very lossy if it's steel and the connections aren't very good. So I think it's always been my opinion that hams are very, very, very poor in designing their antenna systems. So I think if you put up your own vertical and you did it right, here's my thinking. Most verticals are probably at least 3, if not 6 dB down from for their practical maximum. And if you put up a vertical tower and you isolate it from ground, and then you bracket the sides of it with 10 gauge copper wire tied, in a circle, in a triangle at the top and the bottom, and that's your vertical element. And you use big heavy feed, 10 gauge feed line, open wire feed line feeding it. And you have a good radial ground system underneath it, 180 radials, and everything's bonded and done correctly. I think you're going to have a signal. I think the vertical's probably going to do very well.
narrowed into a very narrow range of frequencies.
Yeah, well, I just kind of suspect it's going to work pretty darn good. It appears to me that with the guys up this way that have a vertical, when Gary comes in, the vertical to vertical gives better performance than the horizontal to vertical.
That makes sense. With little things filtering on the back of the tank.
Are you still putting out 1,000 watts?
Yeah, same power.
Yeah, because your signal dropped way down.
Well, something wrong. Hello, any better?
Yeah, now it's back up to 30. What happened?
This rig, something with the, I'm using the auto tuner in the old Yaesu to match up to the amp, and every now and then it hiccups.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can't lock it in now? Like, can't you shut the tuner off so it won't creep?
Let me shut it off. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Hold on.
Yeah, because you went way down. You're almost 30 over. You were down to like S9.
1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. I have to have the tuner switch on in order for the tuner to be functioning.
Yeah, but once it tunes, you can't shut it off?
Well, if I shut it off, well, it has to stop. In order to make it tune, I have to hit the start button to start tuning. But for some reason, it has a little glitch in it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, old radio syndrome. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's old. It's 25 years old or more.
Who's that? Is that Mark? Sounds like a thing Mark would say. I can't tell your voice by that.
Nobody. Well, anyway, I gotta go see if I can figure out why the string isn't feeding out of this stupid weed whacker so I can use it tomorrow.
Yeah, I watched a girl screw around with those one day for a half an hour, and then I finally looked at it. You know why the string didn't feed out? Because there was no string left.
Yeah. Well, I had a bunch of, grass and some little netting and stuff wound up around. I cleaned it all out, put it back together. It doesn't want to work right. I don't know why yet.
Bring it out. I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
KB2ZVP.
An hour and a half to our show. Hour and a half to our show. Oh, by the way, I want you to call up John personally on your either email, phone, or whatever, and tell him that he has to watch us at 10 o'clock.
You call him.
No, he's your pal. You call him. Just tell him this is it. This is it, John. You got to watch this because this is going to explain everything to you.
He's probably out playing at a place where he plays his bass guitar.
Well, he may be and he may not be. I think he's the one guy I want to watch this. I wish Steve was still alive because I would call him personally on the phone now and be getting him to watch it on the TV. He was another non-believer.
What is this show you're talking about?
You didn't hear it? The government came forward a few days ago and admitted that flying saucers are real, and there's going to be a real good show on it on the History Channel at 10 o'clock tonight.
It's the beginning of a series. It's a series, and they're saying UFOs are definitely out there. But I was reading something about it. They said they're not sure if it's from China or Russia or who they're from.
Oh, that is such a bunch of crap. Okay, that's they do that so that the people won't go mad and go screaming out in the street.
I'm just saying that's what they said.
Well, don't you think if anybody had one of them things that was that sophisticated, it would belong to us?
Well, the people already are mad, so what difference does it make?
Yeah,
well,
true.
exactly. That's my point exactly. But the fact is that you don't have cable, so you don't see this, but all governments, France, England, Russia, Canada, 2 or 3 other ones have come forward and admitted, Scandinavia, those countries, they've all come forward and admitted that flying saucers are real and they're a real phenomenon. Well, the United States has never done that, but now our own government has come forward about 3 or 4 days ago on Fox News, had some secretary of something or other come forward and say that the UFO thing is real, they are here, and they're going to have this show on tonight at 10 o'clock, so we have to watch it. My guess is it's going to be a fairly benign show because this has been coming out now for the last 5 or 6 years, and the President of the United States can't come out and say, look, aliens are here, they're getting crazier by the second, they're starting to get a little aggressive, so we're gonna have a space thing now, they can't do that. So but the fact is that our own government finally admitted that they're real. So Bruce, are you going to tell me that you knew it all along now?
There was an article I read. I'm pulling a Ray. I'm not answering the question, and I'm changing the subject. But I'm not changing the subject. There was an article I read 2 days ago, I think, that was. I think the article I read was about an article in the New York Times where it had clips from it, and it talked about a new policy that the military has now. They're letting the pilots talk about it, and these 2 pilots they interviewed were talking about a heightened level of UFO sightings on the East Coast, but during the period of 2014, 2015, but it's funny that they're coming out now with it, because it happened several years ago. But that's what the article said, so that there's evidently been a shift in policy, where they're releasing more information.
Right, pilots, military people were not allowed to talk about this. They were under orders to never divulge this. Now they're letting them talk. Of course, that probably has to do with Trump.
Bruce's power went out.
Bruce, get rid of that goddamn radio. You're back down. You're like way into the noise now. You're gone. We didn't hear one word you said.
All right, am I back?
Now you're back, yeah.
All right, I'm going to have to shake this out. All right, I'll say 73 for now because the radio's crapping out, and I'll get back to my other things. I will be back before long with the 7300.
Yeah, the thing is, you're not just losing 10 dB, you're losing 30 dB. So when you go, you're gone. You're just totally gone. Okay, N1 DVL.
The problem could be in the amplifier. Could be the relay. Probably needs a good cleaning.
I would suspect that that's what it is. It seems to me like you just lost like you had some kind of drive power. I could hear what you were saying, but you were way down.
Yeah, I think the issue, because when I hit the tune button, for some reason it straightens it out. I don't know. It might chatter the relay when it does that enough or something.
Can you get at the relay in that thing?
Yeah, it's very. You pop the top off and it's right in front of you.
Well, then get your white paper and that good cleaner and stick it between there and go back and forth 100 strokes, and if it comes out black, that's probably what it is.
I could always throw the other amp on.
Well, don't forget, that relay's been hot switched for years, so it's probably pitted. So you might have to touch it up with some 600 or 1200 paper also. Okay, N1 DBL.
Yeah, I'm sure this radio's hot switching it. The 7300's not.
Right. Well, that's the whole point right there. That's why, Bruce, a highly intelligent man like yourself shouldn't even be using that old radio.
I got to sell it, Ray, and buy one like yours. I've got $200 in my new Kenwood account.
Oh, that's a smart move. That's all I can tell you. Because I'll tell you what, if I was going to buy a radio, I would buy the Kenwood even today. I would not buy the Yaesu. I'd buy the Kenwood.
I think I'd buy another 7300.
No. Believe me, Bruce. Listen to your pal Ray. I have researched this kind of stuff for 30 years, 40 years. You really want the Kenwood. You know, you want the Kenwood or you want the radio Randy has. You want one or the other. And since we all know that no one in their right mind spends $12,000 on a radio, it's the Kenwood.
No, come on. I know Randy well enough. He's in his right mind. And I understand, you want something, you go for it.
I'm a little offended, Ray, that you're saying something bad about my wife.
I would never say anything bad about Maureen. I'm sure you took her in the back room and bent her arm behind her back and said, now you walk out there and tell them that I can spend this money, and you you said it was okay.
No, not at all. I would never purposely bend her arm behind her back, and no, that's just no, wouldn't happen.
You didn't let her have dinner that night?
She can have, listen, she never has to ask a single time about spending money, or she actually said to me the other day, she said something about me spending money on the new poles and stuff, because, you get $500 for the poles, you got $200 or $300 for the concrete and some rope and some wire and like that, And I said, no, and I said, it's no big deal. So I said, it's just, it's just a couple of bucks we're going to spend. I don't need that much, and I'm working extra. You got to understand something. When I need to, there's all kinds of ways to make money, and so I called my son right away. I said, Cody, I need $472.62. He said, what's that for? I said, for the pipes for my new antenna system. All right, Pop, I'll get you a check. And he says, I'll get you a check for $463. He goes, no, $473, whatever the change was, because he owed me money for working for him. So anyway, he threw the extra 40 cents at me.
Boy, I don't know. Things are, things are really out of control when you got to sweat the wife and the kid for a few extra bucks. I don't know. I think you need a intervention. Do they have an AA for amateurs? Amateur advanced or something?
All I can say is I'm looking at my wife right now and she's smiling, so that's all I care about.
She's a wonderful woman. I wish I could find one like her. It's amazing. It's truly amazing, the difference between the women out there and the women here. It's truly incredible. And the thing is, listen, I'm a pretty bright guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, you have to say right. I'm a pretty bright guy. And I know full well that when I tell everybody these stories about all the women around here, how screwed up they are, that they all, not everyone, but most of them probably look at it with one eye open kind of a deal and the other eye closed. But the fact is, every single day, I just see it more and more and more and more. I don't know what happened to women around this area. I would love to know, but they're all like that. And even my ex-wife, I mean, even she's like that, you know. Matter of fact, there's this girl, Liz, that used to work for me. Her name's Elizabeth, Liz. And she used to work for me, and she was always good and honest and everything. And she had the love of her life boyfriend. Well, that was kind of one of those, kind of an oddball deal. But anyway, he ended up getting cancer, and he was dying. And I had talked to her about a year ago. And she told me she's going to stay with him. She's caretaking him, and he can no longer function, and this, that, and the other. So I called her up the other day just to tell her that my mother had passed away, because she was very close to my mother. And she said, yeah. She said, well, Paul passed away too. And I said, oh my God, Liz, I'm so sorry to hear that. I said, when? And she said, in July. And I said, wow, I'm surprised you didn't call me. I said, I kind of figured if Paul passed, you were going to call me. She said, no, I just didn't really want to talk about it. And she said, yeah, but she said, I thought the same thing with you. And I said, well, the reason I didn't call you is because I already knew you were taking care of Paul, and I assumed he was still alive, and I know what a harrowing job that is, basically watching somebody die, so I didn't want to give you any more aggravation. So anyway, I said to her, so I said, well, why don't we go out like Saturday night? And she said, well, I don't know, my sister just had her knee done, and I have to take care of her now. I'm going to take care. She's a caretaker kind of a girl. But anyway, so she says, okay. She says, I'll call you Saturday morning, and we'll make plans whatever we're going to do. So I said, okay, that sounds great. Now, I'm telling you this story because this is the one girl that isn't like the rest of them around here. She calls me today, and she said, and she left a message, give me a call when you get a chance. I called her back. She said, I'm calling you now to tell you that I can't do anything tomorrow. Paul's sister passed away. She was in a hospice, lung cancer. They both had lung cancer. They both smoked. She passed away yesterday or today. So she said, I'm dealing with that. So I really can't make it. But she said, I just wanted to let you know as soon as possible. So I didn't want to wait till the last minute, and then tell you I couldn't go. Now there is a normal girl compared to all the other ones around here.
Yeah, she sounds like a very nice person.
Yeah, she is. She's an alcoholic. I mean, she's stopped drinking. I think she said she hasn't had a drop to drink in like 7 years, but she was a really, really, really bad alcoholic, really bad. Just like what you'd expect on a really bad one.
WG2E. Hello, Carl. Hello, Randy, Ray, whomever else. I heard Dave. I heard Doc in there a second ago. Bruce is in there, too.
Hello, Carl.
And Bob's
How's
back.
it going?
Hello, Carl.
No, that's not. Was that you, Bob?
83, KX?
Oh, maybe it was Doc. I don't know.
Yeah, hello, Doc.
Hi, Randy.
I think I heard Mike. Who's KXB? That's Tom. I heard Tom.
You're kidding, Tom. Where the hell you been?
I've been here. Did you pay the electric bill? Crank it up. I can hardly hear you.
Well, I can't hear you, Tom. You're in the noise, so I guess you didn't change the antenna. What did he say, Randy?
He said he can't hear you.
Hear you, Ray. Pay the power bill.
Yeah, but Randy, you just hit 40 over 9. Now, that's a big, big signal. That's probably a 60 over 9 on a 7610. So you're pretty strong.
Tom is white to me.
Tom, come on back. Let me take a look at you, big boy.
Okay, Ray is on his highs, he's 9, and as low as he's 6. But, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, Tom is between 20 and 25 over S9.
Yeah, he's about 10 over S9 to me.
Carl's big. Bruce was big. Everybody's big. Dave is. I can hear Dave. Dave's not here. NYSAG.
Ray, you're flashing a red light here.
Am I flashing your red light?
Oh, yeah, you're... Yes.
All right. Well, you're doing a good job here, too, and so is Dave. 25 or so, thereabouts over. I got the old Super Toad cranked right up, Randy.
Super Toad. I got my pipe kit got delivered today for my new antenna system, so I can't wait to get that home.
He's Tim raised up his antenna. He put a full loop up. He sounds real good now.
Did you get your log stuff yet? You know, it didn't come in. No, I didn't get that stuff in from Mauser. I was hoping it would have.
Would you like a log report?
I would.
Well, I took the wire for the bog and dragged it off into the woods, and I made a 60-foot square loop in place of it. And I can't say that at this point I'm extremely impressed. There's an awful lot of noise I'm picking up with this log.
Mark had the same problem until he used the proper, what does he call it? Not a balun, it's a
Isolator.
Oh, whatever it is. It's a transformer. It's a matching transformer of some sort, but it's separate. It's not a balun. Are you using a balun?
Nope, I'm using the matching transformer. This is the one from the bog. It's the same thing as what's in that article.
It's a 9-to-1 isolation transformer.
Yeah, it's the isolation transformer, the same one that used for the bog. Now, Mike said he had really good results with his, but I'm finding mine to be pretty noisy.
And what's the isolation transformer you're using? What is it? 4-to-1, 5-to-1, 8-to-1, 49-to-1?
I don't know offhand. It's the one that you use for the bog. It's that KD9SV bog one, the same one that Mike has.
Yeah, Mike was saying that his bog had a lot of noise, but his loop does not.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm wondering. At this point, it seems that the loop on the ground is much noisier. I seem to remember my bog being pretty much down by S0, S1 all the time, and this one here is going up to 5 and 6 and stuff for lightning crashes. So it's what I did is it said you could feed it anywhere, so I have the 30-foot on a side square fed in the middle of one side. I might just try it out for a while and then see how it'll do in the diamond, fed at a corner.
Yeah, Mark and both Mark and Mike have them fed in the corner.
Yeah, but the article said it shouldn't make a difference. The only reason I did that is physically it was just a little bit easier to do. But, all I have to do is pull up the stakes and drag it out to the other configuration. So I'm going to try it for a couple days, and then we'll see what happens. WG2E.
Well, when I get the parts, I'm going to build a couple of them. I'm going to put them out there with RG6, and I'll make up my mind as to whether or not they work. I'm pretty happy with my loop antenna. If I can do something to eliminate some of this noise and still hear people down low, like I've watched on a million different YouTube videos, I would be very, very happy with that, because I know my output signal's okay, but it's just it's trying to hear somebody through all this noise that we have all summer.
Yeah, well, and this way it may not be quite as quiet as I'd like, but we'll see how it goes.
And if it's not, I'll build a bog. I mean, I've got plenty of room around to build a bog, or if I have to, I can build a beverage antenna too. But that's my least likely or least desirable to build, because we've got so much wildlife around here, and then we also got the tractors and the hay wagons and all that. So I don't really want to do that. I could do it on the ground for sure, but up in the air would be problematic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see how it goes, but yeah, I might just try a different configuration, but I want to give it a couple days and maybe wait for a quiet day. It was terrible on 80. I tried to use it on 80, and it seemed just about as noisy as the loop.
But don't they differentiate between day and night?
Well, the bog was always way better at night and picked up a lot of extra noise during the daytime. So I'm kind of in the transition period here right now. So we'll see how it goes.
JT2D, I'm back.
You must have had a lot of traffic tonight.
Yeah, I had 2 to go out and then had to wait to
went up, and it took a little longer because it was so noisy.
What was the traffic you handled tonight?
So let's see, 2 outgoing ones were from Bruce KA2GJV in Fulton, New York. They were TCC net reports that he go into the Transcontinental Corps manager, and then picked up one from 3rd Region that was going to Ontario.
Thank God. Thank God you were there to relay that traffic.
Well, if I wasn't, you probably would be having a power blackout right now.
Wow. I am so happy that you were there for us all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's just my little bit of doing my public service here, Randy.
You have no idea how much I love to go over with my tractor, pick up my welder, bring it close to the house, plug it in, and then I can run my generator, and I can tell everybody, hey, I'm on emergency power, everybody.
I bet you do like doing that.
You just screwed up my whole plan for the evenings. Thanks so much. You're a good citizen, Bob.
Yeah, I take a lot of abuse for it, too. I don't get it.
So, Bob, you're getting up at 4:30 tomorrow morning to go fix that antenna, right?
I get up at 4:30 every morning, Ray. I do 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups. I run 2 miles, and then I eat a nice MRE smoothie.
Well, tomorrow, don't do all the sit-ups, the push-ups, and the run. Don't do that. Just work on the antenna. That'll be your exercise.
He was real impressed with all that, Bob.
Well, yeah, I could tell he was. But he didn't miss a beat. All right, yeah, that's fine. Just don't do all that push-ups and that stuff. Just shoot the wire.
Basically, quit wasting your time.
It'll either be first light or when I wake up, Ray, whichever is later. And I'm usually up by 5 anyway. So, that's my plan.
In other words, Bob, it was quit wasting your time and get your ass to work.
Exactly, and you finally hit 20 over 9. If you were 20 over all the time with 30 every now and then, that would be then you'd have a good signal. I could reliably hear you all the time.
You know, Ray, I hope you appreciate all this work I'm doing just so that your bum ears can hear me.
Back in the old days when Ray had a good radio, he could hear everybody.
He puts up this ultimate vertical and does it right, and we see how that thing really performs. I may just put up a vertical. I may just get a commercial guy to come over here and, buy the right tower, freestanding tower, 125 feet or 135 feet, and just stick that out there, and away I go.
The one I would really like just to try out, but it'd be a lot of work, is those, what do they call them, truncated conical verticals, biconic verticals. They look pretty neat.
Yeah, but that's a really big antenna, and it's a lot, it could probably ice up and just collapse on you. I think you'd be better off just with the tower. Hey, here's another thing you're going to do. You okay? You ready? You ready to take this order?
There's a lot of static I can't hear.
Yeah, okay. MFJ sells a clip-on amp meter that goes over twin lead, and it's got 2 clip-ons. They make a cheap one that just does one side at a time, and then they make another one which it clips over both wires simultaneously and has 2 meters, and it looks at the balance. I think you should get one of those because with your antenna system, you're using a balanced feed into basically an unbalanced system, and I kind of suspect that you can tune the ground side of that to get the balance correct.
Well, and I was also looking at Palomar makes it's a balance, but it's unbalanced antenna. So for long wire antennas or verticals, so it's a balanced feed line. They make a transformer that I can feed again, but it looks like it may do it. I was kind of curious about that.
No. That goes on coax cable.
No, this one is different. So this one has terminals on both. It's specifically made for ballast feed line to tie into unbalanced antennas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would definitely try one of those. But before I do that, I'd spend $110 or $20 for that meter that clips over both wires, and just see if you have the unbalance. If you don't have an unbalance, and/or you could just trim it up by putting a little more ground wire out there and balance it that way, then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
W2MUR.
So we need a comparison between your log and Carl's.
Okay, I'm ready.
What do you got for a noise level, Mike?
It's running between 1 and 3 tonight because it's a little crashy.
Okay, I'm getting like 5 or 6. And my first impression here of this evening is it's not as quiet as the bog was.
Yeah, but what am I giving you for a signal, Carl, on your loop, and what am I giving you for a signal on the loop on the ground?
Your S9 on the loop on the ground and your 20 over on my transmit loop. And it used to be quite a bit less signal on the bog.
Yeah, okay. Well, that all makes sense then.
Loop. I mean, what's the signal-to-noise ratio between the two antennas to Ray?
Yeah, you want it here. Here, what's this, Carl? You ready? Here we go, Carl. There, 5 watts. I'm down to very lower power. Make the test now. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Now, can you hear me better on the loop on the ground?
You're about S8 on the loop on the ground, and you're kind of in with the S9 plus noise on my transmit loop.
So the loop on the ground, you can hear me better.
On my loop, I'm sorry, on my dipole, and you are S8 on my log.
Hold on, one at a time. So, Carl, give that again, and Mike, stand by.
No, just answer this. Can you hear me better on the loop on the ground?
Well, I'm only listening to one at a time. I'm looking at the S meter, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's maybe still better on the loop on the ground.
Yeah, well, guys, when you start talking in terms of S meter, you're totally missing the whole point of the antennas. You don't even want to think about the S meter. You just want to click between one and the other, and if you hear the guy better on the loop on the ground, then it's working. If you don't hear him better, then it doesn't work.
I hear you better on the loop on the ground, Ray. The signal to noise is quite a bit better. Mike, it's your turn.
Okay, so I'm like when I'm hearing Ray right now, I hear him slightly better on the loop on the ground, slightly. It's just little richer sound, stronger signal. But you're 20 over on the dipole, and you're about S8 on the log.
I wish you guys wouldn't even bother giving S-meter readings, because it doesn't mean anything at all. It's like the old preamp on VHF. Yeah, the guy's in S5. I turn my preamp on, he's 20 over 9. Wow, what a big difference, except you can't hear him any better.
Okay, so Ray, what would you use? That's the only instrument I have.
Well, the S-meter means zero. It means absolutely zero. You just switch between A and B. If you hear me better on the ground antenna, then it's working. If you don't hear me better, then it doesn't work.
Well, listen, I'm looking at both receivers of my 7610. Unlike the 890, I've got two receivers. I look at them at the same time, and I see you exactly at the same time. And I'm hearing you better in my log slightly than on my dipole.
Right, but if it's slightly better, I don't think those antennas are working right, because I've heard guys that run those those the real antennas where they're 5-6 feet off the ground or something like that, and they're 400 or 500 feet long. And I've heard those guys say, yeah, you're 20 over 9 on my full size antenna, and you're 20 over 9 on my whatever it is, my low antenna, and the noise is 10 over 9 on the big antenna, and it's S3 on the other antenna. So there you can be rest assured that the lower antenna is working a lot better.
Well, you just use S units that you told me not to use. But anyway, the point I'm making here is that the whole purpose of the log on the ground, if you had, I don't know if you've read the article at all, but it's going to be for the regional signals like you are, and all of us that are normally in here every night. It's really going to be about the same, maybe a little bit better on the log for me. But the real test is going to be when you get out and the low angle on this thing, when you get out, and get into the DX land. That's where you got to really see if this is really working or not. And I haven't heard any DX really to test it yet.
Well, how about Tom? Tom, say something. Tom, make a transmission. I guess Tom went into the hot tub.
He was way, way lighter than I would normally hear him.
Hey, Tom, are you in there?
Because of this antenna, because I tried it on both. But he was pretty light tonight.
Well, could you hear him better on the low antenna?
Yeah, I think the signal to noise is better, but the general noisiness of it seems to be higher than the bog was.
Yeah, I mean, the crashes, Carl, how would you compare the crashes to the bog?
I think the bog was quieter, but I'm going to give it a few days and see what happens. I did do the 30-foot on the side, but I have mine fed in the middle of one side rather than a corner.
Yeah, mine's fed on the corner, and I've grounded the shield.
Well, we'll see how it goes, but anyway, I just wanted to let you know I did that. It was, it was easy. Heck, I can put the bog back in 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, the thing I noticed was that the bog was better at suppressing crashes than I think the log is. I mean, even though, so the log is running about S1, but it's still, when it crashes, it'll go from S1 to S3, S4. And my dipole is running S9, and when it crashes, it goes to 20 over. So it's all relative, I think. So far, everything's kind of relative, and with the log being slightly better, because it's quieter, and the signal-to-noise ratio is better on the log than the dipole.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, I'm going to give it a few days. Hopefully, we'll get a quiet night and see how it works that way. WG2E.
Well, you're really strong, Carl. You're 40 over.
You're just over 30.
Yeah, you're running on my dipole like you normally run, Ray. You're running almost 38 and running about S8 on the log. But the log, when I listen to both signals at the same time, which is the nice benefit of the 7015, I shut off the dipole and just listen to you on the log. You're a little bit better. Everybody on the net is a little bit better on my log. The question is when I get, like when I was listening to K1A, I think from Massachusetts last night, he was slightly better on my log than the dipole. But you got to remember too, where the log really helps is off the corners. Okay, so if I'm feeding it from one corner, and then 90-degree corners, I'm positioned northwest to southeast. So the way you position that will determine how well or how little you can hear signals that are weaker or stronger. Because where it's omnidirectional for regional, it's bidirectional on the corner at a 3-degree angle. 3-degree angle.
Mine is fed in the middle of the east side.
So I don't know how that's modeled, because I think he modeled it by feeding it to the corners.
Well, I'll try it this way for a little bit, and it's easy enough to just move it around and make it a corner instead of a side.
So if you could, if you look at if you read the article, the modeling of this thing is like 160 degrees omnidirectional. Well, that's not really omnidirectional; it's just one side, but it's 160 degrees regionally. And then when you look at the maximum points on the computer model, the takeoff angle is around 3 degrees, 3 or 6, I can't remember, but it's pretty low. That's where it's supposed to pull in some signals better on the DX side. DX, I guess, how that's defined, I don't know what mileage it is. I'm guessing maybe 500 plus miles, maybe.
Okay, well, I only got a couple hours on it, so we'll give it some time and see how it goes.
I just think it's quieter, and a little bit quieter. But I'm going to keep evaluating this as well. I probably want to shift it around a little bit. I wish it was more oriented, more so to the northwest and the southeast, and it's more north to south right now. And I wish it was. I need to shift it over maybe about 25 degrees in the northwest direction, and or maybe just put it all to the east and west. That would probably be another great thing to do. It's good.
All right, well, I'm going to give it a couple days in this configuration, and then maybe I'll move the feed to the corner.
And because I got my mower goes real low, and I was worried I was going to chop it up, but I didn't, so everything was fine with that.
A lot of static. Got to keep your transmission shorter. Thanks for checking in, 73s.
Well, who was that week one?
That was, the supposed good Randy.
Yeah, did good Randy get his radio back? Supposed to get it back Friday.
I looked at the Sherwood site. He now carries radios for sale, Ray.
Oh, is he selling? Does he happen to have a radio that I can buy reasonable, like one of those 101s I can get maybe for like 25?
A very slightly used 101D with a VFO knob that's been it needs to work because it was dropped on the front, and the VFO knob seems to have a little wobble to it.
Hey, then I'll give like $1,500 for it.
Hey, Randy.
Who? Hark! Hark! I hear a weak one.
So did I.
Keep it short, Randy. Yeah, keep it short. There's a lot of static crashes.
That's what she said. I'm going to bring a slightly 2-month-old used 101D to the picnic. I'm going to sell tickets $10 a swing.
$10 a swing, Ray. I'm bringing the hammer.
No, you got to use my sledge.
Oh, you got to use your sledge. Okay. I'm going to send down, because I'm not going to be there, I'm going to send down the Toad Harbor band, the Toad Harbor, world-famous Toad Harbor band, in lieu of the fact that I'm not going to be there. Mike, you can't talk about what happens at the party anymore because you're not going to be there. But I have people on the ground. They're going to report back.
Mike, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just running barefoot, by the way. I got my log transformer TV into my SO239 or whatever.
SO239. Okay, so SO239. That's going to be too big for the RG6.
So
Don't you have a radio, a good radio that has an F connector in the back?
Absolutely not.
Well, CNC. But if you spend a couple of bucks at HRO, you can have one.
The radio?
You're getting covered up by the static crashes, Tim.
So keep it short.
Keep the transmission short, Tim. We're not hearing you very well.
Yeah, wait till I amplify.
I don't need my log on.
Keep it shorter.
Hello, Gary.
Good evening.
Well, okay, first the question is, did you get the cable, you got the coax in the RG6, right?
No, negative.
No, so you're using 239? 239 connector?
Oh, galore. Is that any better now?
Not much difference.
I don't know. You're so weak I can hardly hear you. Yeah, how do I get it into my radio?
Well, do you have a receive antenna?
I know that. Yeah, it takes a regular PL259. What are you talking about?
Wait a minute. What class ham radio operator are you, and how many countries have you worked in on 160? And you're asking how do you get your antenna connected to your radio?
Yeah, using the cable TV on my transformer.
Hey, Ray, we need an intervention.
And speaking of an intervention, N3 or more.
Hello, Marcus.
Is there an adapter from cable TV to ham radio or what?
You can get a PL59 that adapts to anything.
Coax cable.
There's an adapter?
Yes, they make adapters to anything. The RG6 adapters will adapt to anything.
I guess I got to buy that from DX Engineering or who?
Look on the internet. Amazon Prime.
What connector do you have on the RG6, Tim?
I have that regular cable TV connector.
He's got an RG6, looks like a male. Okay, well, if you got an F connector, you just go to like Grimmer's or something down in Schenectady and get a PL259 to a female F, and you screw it in and screw it in the back of your radio.
Yeah, okay. Can I get it from Amazon?
I'm sure you can.
Can't go to Schenectady. Yeah, that's a drive. Yeah, I'm using, I went from a 10 to 1 to a 4 to 1. So I'm getting 1 to 1 now. Of course, I can transmit into it. But I'm looking at 1 to 1 on my log now.
Are the Yankees still ahead right now?
I did get my analyzer on it. I just got home too late.
The Yankees playing tonight? What are you talking about, Randy?
Yeah, they're playing the Red Sox. They were 3-1. They were ahead 3-0 a little while ago. Are they still ahead?
I don't know. I'm talking to ham radio.
4-1. Okay, 4-1 now. Thanks for the station that gave me the 4-1. Who was that?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Whiskey 87. Whiskey 8 what? Fox Echo. Whiskey 8 Fox Echo. Okay, yeah, I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Yeah,
He was talking about what bell he's using.
I can't copy him on the transmit antenna.
Yeah, okay, real good. Well, you're about an S9. You're not real strong, but you're copyable. Where are you at? And what are you running for an antenna? That's very cool. Well, you're doing a good job here. I'm in central New York, a place called Toad Harbor. Yes, I was. I was on 40 meters earlier today with my mobile set up on the way home from work. Okay. I appreciate it. Oh, man, it's kind of funny. Thanks very much, 73. We'll see you again. Thanks.
K1 DSK.
Hello, Devin.
Hello, good evening, gentlemen.
Yeah, good evening.
There's no gentleman here.
Oh, I know there are two of them.
Yeah, how did they work?
Which two?
There's somebody else in there, too, trying to get in there besides Devin. Hang on one second, Devin. Who's the other station?
It's a EA8.
This station here is N1QWN running QRP.
You can't run QRP tonight. There's just too much static. You gotta kick that thing in the tail.
Well, it seems like it's working. You're answering me.
What's that?
Yeah, turn it up, man. Get those long antennas. Get your antennas on the ground. Get them up 10 feet, and you'll be fine.
Well, put some power on, and we could hear you without any trouble.
Yeah, here's the QRP station. You're pretty loud here. Here's the QRP station.
Yeah, I'm in the studio D per bedroom, just listening. 703 pickup radio.
What's the antenna?
Yeah, I covered that, but what's
The antenna is the only one you guys should build. You take the formula of 468, divide it into frequency, and you come up with about 300 and some odd feet. And then you want to build the antenna out of make it out of 10 gauge wire and feed it with a open lateral line and get it up about 90 feet, and that antenna will play.
Is that what you're using?
Yep, clear space, wide open spaces. I tried making my own feed line, but it's so friggin' heavy that I can't flat top the antenna. So it's important to get the antenna flat and also into open space.
Yeah, but how high off the ground?
I'm 90 feet.
Well, 90 feet. Okay, so then you're not using a receive antenna. I'm running a loop, and that's what I'm going to run. But what is your power output?
I'm 5 watts. 5 watts.
Oh, this should be fun. So 5 watts. We'll just go down to 5 watts.
Yeah, 5 watts is incredible. And I still didn't get your location, though.
I'm on Barnstable Harbor, real close to the water. I've got a beverage that runs 900 feet towards the north. It's 10 feet off the ground. And terminated.
Ray, what do you have to say about this?
It's a nice receive antenna, and you got a 90-foot tower, shut feed the tower, and you can work a lot of European stations, but you got to have that receive antenna. You're just going to be broadcasting. You're not going to be receiving.
Yeah, Roger Dodger. Yeah, you do need power tonight. Go ahead, Randy.
I'll get back on my 101, and I can give you 150 watts. You might hear me better.
Yeah, you peaked at 10 over. Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, give me a second. N1QWN, quicker with nitrous. I'll be back.
He's taking you out, Randy. He's taking you out. You better put on the big power.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's talking about how everybody can hear me with 4 times the power.
He must have a superior antenna than you.
I can hear you, Randy, but it's weak.
Yeah, that's right. You have to bring us down because we can't copy him at 5 watts. We can't copy him at 7 times the power.
Yeah, but he's louder than you are with 5 watts than you are with 50.
Yeah, he's in Barnstable, so he's right on the ocean, so he's got probably good ground there.
Exactly. It's all okay. So it's all. See, the thing is, Tim at 5 watts, I could copy and I could keep a conversation. But I go down to 50 watts. He's telling us all how we have to do a better job with our receiver antennas. But Kim doesn't understand something that's really important. He's running 5 watts, and he's talking about how well he can hear everybody. I went down to 5 watts, couldn't hear a peep out of me. And then I went to 20 watts, he couldn't hear me. Then I went to 50 watts, 10 times his power, he still couldn't hear me. Okay? So anybody that can't hear someone else running 10 times their power, their receive is not working well. Okay? You can play around all these games that you want to play, but if running QRP, all that does is test the receiver of the other person.
He was louder than you with 5 watts when you were with 50.
Gary, it's propagation and distance, okay? That has nothing to do with anything. Don't be stupid. Think about it for a second. It's between he and I, okay? I can hear him at 5 watts. He can't hear me at 50, okay? You and I are close together. That's not the same thing at all. You go down to 5 watts and see if he can hear you at 5 watts.
Here he's been drinking.
I'm running 5 watts now.
I had a good copy on him, QRP station. I had a good copy on my log and on the antenna also.
Yeah, and he's close. He's in Massachusetts, for Christ's sakes. It doesn't matter where his goddamn location is. Why don't you people think about this, okay? Somebody running 5 watts, and you're hearing somebody else running 1,500 watts, and then when that person at 1,500 watts goes down to 5 watts, the person that can hear him at 5 watts, that means they're not working well. Okay, they can hear good at 1,500 watts. Big freaking deal.
1099.
I'm running 5 watts now. No, 4 watts. 4 watts. I'm 2X Whiskey Mike at 4 watts.
I mean, you guys just don't seem to get it. You don't think about distance and you don't think about propagation, anything else. It's from one person to the next person. If somebody comes on here at 5 watts and they're talking about how well they can hear because they're running 5 watts, that means absolutely nothing. That's stupid. It's actually not even not smart. It's beyond that. It's stupid. Okay? They're talking about how well they can, their antenna works so well because they can copy everybody. They got the greatest beverage antenna in the world, and because they're running 5 watts. Well, that means nothing at all. They're running 5 watts. That means the rest of us are hearing them on 5 watts. He can't hear anything, okay? I went to 5 watts, he couldn't hear me. I went to 20 watts, couldn't hear me. 30 watts, couldn't hear me. I went to 10 times his power, and he couldn't hear me. How well do you think his receive antenna is working?
Did you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you with no trouble. You can go down to 0 watts and I can copy you.
No, but did you hear me when I said 1099?
I did. I heard you say 1099.
Sure.
And who's running QRP on a night like tonight? What are you, crazy?
Yeah, Ray. Ray, I could hear you say 1099 with no trouble.
Okay, I was just making a point, that's all.
Well, QRP should be banned on 160 meters.
You don't use QRP. It's a public radio. In the summertime, most hams just leave 160 because it's so much noise. And somebody comes in running QRP and they want to prove a point. Well, you know what? The point they proved is that they're stupid.
Hey, QRP is kind of like remarks. Now give me a signal with 100 watts.
Zero noise on the bin.
Middle summer with thunderstorm activity on a night like tonight, I mean, QRP starts at 1,000 watts.
And the thing is, they can't hear, okay? The person is putting out the comment about running QRP cannot hear, okay? That's the point. Everybody here is running 1,000 watts or more, besides Tim. But everybody's running 1,000 watts or more, and then they're talking about how well their QRP system works, okay? That doesn't, that means shit, okay? Our systems work well because we could hear this guy on QRP, okay? But yet he can't hear the same signal coming back.
Yeah, I think we got it, yeah.
I think we should respond to him with QRP. Anybody who comes QRP, you relay back or transmit QRP. Then they'll know.
Devin,
I know you're hearing me.
Devin, pay attention. That's exactly what I did. I went to 5 watts. He couldn't hear me at his power. Then I went to 20 watts. He couldn't hear me at his power. And then I went to 50 watts. He still couldn't hear me at 10 times his power.
You might have had a better chance if I was in the shack.
Hey, what was he running for a radio?
Kim, what are you running for a radio?
I'm running a 703.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You're running a 703, but you're coming out at 5 watts. I went to you at 50, and you couldn't hear me.
I wasn't in the room.
Oh, well, yeah, that always helps.
What is a 703?
It's like a 706, but a pile.
QRP rig made by ICOM.
It's like a 706, Ray. It's just a pile.
Right. That's the issue. That's the point I was trying to make. Poor receiver to start with, you know. So not going to hear anything. Surprised he hears you on 1500 watts. That's the issue. Okay, well, it's 25 minutes to the UFO show, so keep that in mind, everybody. Give yourself like 5 minutes leeway.
Ooh, what UFO show are you talking about?
Oh, my God. What planet are you on? That one that's coming on tonight on the History Channel that's going to tell you the truth about UFOs?
Oh, brother.
We've been talking about it all week. We've been promoting it, Mark.
Well, I don't pay much attention to all that stuff.
You know, if you paid a bit more attention, Ray, what do you think? He'd have a better signal.
Well, I'm only running QRP.
Mark, you didn't know that, 3 or 4 days ago, a government official came on TV and said UFOs are real? Watch this show.
Oh, you mean, Ray, they're going to finally tell us the truth and not lie to us? This time?
Yes, that's it. Tonight, 10 o'clock on the History Channel.
The Secretary...
Good luck with that.
The Secretary of Defense came on Fox News and talked about it.
And they're going to tell the truth on national television even, where they always lied.
Somebody email John. Quick, get John, BYP, get him on. Make sure he watches it.
Hey, Ray, I just was watching the it's an old movie, but that was a great movie.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Third Encounter of the Close Kind. I'm sorry, I was a little bit ambiguous on that.
That was a great movie.
Oh, I like fiction too.
That movie was almost as good as Smokey and the Bandit.
No, Devin, it's real. It's real. Do you hear what I said? The Secretary of Defense or something came on TV a few days ago on Fox News and admitted to the world that UFOs are real.
Why do you think he's telling the truth, Ray? What makes you believe that he's going to tell what's really going on television?
Well, because I've known for years and years that they're real. It's all the smart people that don't believe in them.
Test 1, 2.
They gotta be real. They're on Facebook.
Right?
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
So the UFOs are launched by Americans or Russians or Chinese?
Test 1, 2. Test.
They come to us from other worlds, Devin, other worlds.
Oh, I'd like to hear that, what they have to say about that.
Well,
tonight, Devin, what's your thought of UFOs?
What's that?
What is your thought on UFO? You get doubled it.
UFOs, they are flying objects, but I don't think they come from outer space. They are man-made.
I concur.
History Channel. I think Devin needs a new receiver.
Well, first of all, you have to stop doubling with everybody.
Devin, can you hear Ray?
Yeah, Devin, I agree with you. They're man-made.
Crying in a bucket.
Well, they make good stories and good discussion.
Devin, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Well, Ray keeps asking you a question, but you're not answering us. I'm not sure if you're hearing him.
Oh, Ray, what are you asking?
I said, do you get the History Channel?
I don't know. I don't watch TV.
Well, maybe tonight you ought to make an exception. You have 20 minutes. Look up History Channel. If you got cable, I'm sure you got the History Channel. Go watch it. It comes on at 10 o'clock. Make up your own mind.
I'll get my news from Facebook.
this the one to watch?
That's fine. Then get it any way you can get it. It's on at 10.
I was just kidding.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope you're not getting your news from Facebook. Why are you being a jerk tonight, Devin?
Oh, is that being a jerk? Means if you say something slightly funny?
More sheet a joke.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Well, I'm not being a jerk, and that's the only way I get my news because I don't have cable or TV.
I get my news from radio.
We believe that, Gary. We've heard you talk.
I do. I have WMBF. I listen to Rush Limbaugh, and he doesn't believe in UFOs.
He's the truth detector.
He is dead, Mike, indeed.
I got my news from the Toad Harbor Net.
That'll work.
Rush Limbaugh's been very, very good to me.
Yeah, you can get it direct from the Toad Harbor Net, from the Science Advisor.
Chief Science Advisor.
I'm the Science Advisor.
Radio.
That's when I moved John up to the chief engineer.
Hey, they got the Men in Black 3 coming out.
What the hell was the Men in Black 2?
Well, they had Men in Black 1 and 2 with Will Smith and the other guy. What was his name? Played in Fugitive. I can't remember his name. Tommy Lee Jones, right? And Will Smith were in the first and second one, and then the third one's going to be Chris, the guy that played on Thor, and some other person.
No idea what you're talking about.
I guess you got to watch the preview of it. I saw it just real quickly, and looked pretty funny.
Yeah, they've held pretty good on all of those. The one was good, and the other two were good. They didn't go downhill like some of them do when they do the sequels.
Yeah, right. And I was surprised to see Chris was in that, but he seems like he's doing a good job. From the preview.
Yeah, I've seen him in the Thor. He's a pretty good actor. He also played in one movie that Ron Howard did. He played James Hunt, Chris Helmsworth. Did a good job in that one.
Night, fellas. I got a truck mama in. See y'all tomorrow. 783 WAH with you.
Sleep well, Doc.
73, Doc.
Take care, Doc. Hope all goes well.
Okay, 73 from Albany.
So, big news here. Big news. Big news. Breaking news. Yeah, this is actually breaking. This is actually true breaking. You want to come over here? Do you want to say? Maureen wants to discuss this.
I just heard from my son, and our grandson has been born.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Oh, congrats.
I didn't even know she was in labor.
So then tomorrow we're not going to work around the house. I guess we're going back east. Wow, congratulations. That's great news.
Congratulations, Randy.
Now we have 3 grandchildren, 2 girls and a boy. We got a boy. Future amateur radio operator.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Fonda. He lives in Fonda.
Still west of me, though.
Not much west of you. Fonda's right around the corner.
Oh yeah, no, it is.
Like Carl says, back to the motherland.
Yeah, no, we just said east. I thought you probably meant Springfield or Worcester or something like that.
No, we were brought up and raised in Fonda. That's motherland for us. Because my first girlfriend was from Fonda. I'm very fond of Fonda.
Yeah, probably have some nice fun.
What was her name? Helga?
Pam Palazzo.
Oh, I know Pam. My gosh, she was a slut.
Maybe she is now. In 6th grade, she wasn't.
Okay.
At least I certainly hope she wasn't.
Okay, Ray, T-minus 15 minutes.
Ray, what will happen if at 10 o'clock you're watching the first 2 minutes and then everything goes black?
That would be funny. Hey,
She's
Mike.
downstairs warming up the TV. Just turned it on so the tubes will warm up.
Yeah, he's got an Admiral.
Or you turn it on and then, something else appears on the screen. Talking to Ray directly.
Hey, Mike.
Ray's got the Admiral TV with the ultrasonic remote. Remember the ones that go ding when you hit them?
Yep.
I had a Zenith that had one of those, the pinger. They sent out a little ping.
Yes, just like that. And I actually built the first digital, one of the first digital color TVs. Heathkit made a 26-inch color TV, and I built that thing from the kit. And it had a clock in it, digital clock superimposed onto the tube, and it had a real remote that worked. And man, that thing worked beautiful. Well, I mean, Heathkit had a great, Heathkits were easy to build. If you knew how to solder and follow directions, you could do it. It was all plug-in boards. It was a lot of fun to build, and I remember getting across the tube after I charged up the tube, and I had to disconnect the tube because of something. And I thought I discharged it, and I didn't. I got across it was like 23,000 volts. Man, it woke me up.
All right, guys, time to watch the TV show. 73, everyone. Talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, Devin.
All right, Devin, be a good boy.
73 Devin, KT2D. Yeah, I'm going to head up myself and get something to eat and get ready. We'll catch you tomorrow, guys. 73 KT2D.
Hey, Devin, how copy?
Copy, good. I'm listening to the lot, so very clear copy, no static crashes.
Okay, for 100 watts.
Yeah, very clear. You want signal? Let me switch the antenna.
Yep, switch the antenna. Reports 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You are 35 over S9. 35 over S9.
35 over. Heavens to purgatory. Who needs an amplifier?
How much power?
100 watts.
About 35 over, but static crashes are also pretty loud. They are about 20 to 25 over. So you are above the static crashes.
Well, that's good. I know it may get worse, but when you get the antenna, you get a flat top dipole, you get it up 90 feet, and you feed it with ladder line, and you pull it tight, and you get it in free space, and that thing's going to work.
So is that what you're running?
That's right. Number 10 gauge stranded up about 90 feet. I made some homemade feed line. It was too heavy. I made it out of 10 gauge, and it just bogged the antenna down. So I strapped that, and I set it with the old Maple 450 ohm stranded 14 gauge. And I think I set it with a quarter wave of it. So there's a 150 feeder 450 line. And the antenna itself is probably 360 feet, and it's high as 90 feet, and it's flat top, and it's an open space.
So let me give me a call sign again, please.
Yeah, the call is November 1. Quebec Whiskey November, QWN.
All right. So it's a dipole?
Yep, Santa Fe dipole.
What is it, like 5/8 or half wavelength?
It's a half wavelength. Just very simple. The theory, the math theory, 468 divided into the frequency. I divided it into 1900. That's kind of the middle of the band here, and I forget exactly the length, but that will give you the overall length of your wire.
Well, I think the advantage you have is the height. If you get to 90 feet, my antenna is only, it's a loop. Half loop is 30 feet high, other half 50 feet high. Cannot get that kind of height. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got to get in clear space, and fortunately in Barnstable, I'm really close to the water table, so I've got a lot of interaction that way. Yeah, I'm only 11 feet from water, and it's very sandy, and that helps out a lot.
Oh yeah, the connectivity is so good here. We have terrible ground here. It's rocky, dry. I think it's one of the worst ones. I look at the chart. So not very good ground here. So having good ground close to water, 90 feet. I think anything will work with open line.
Yeah, every place is different. We used to do a lot of European skip with the beverage. We had a 900-foot beverage out in the backyard, 10 feet off the ground, and it didn't work so good for close-in stations, but stations you couldn't hear, all of a sudden they would appear, and it was a beautiful thing. And transmit vertically. You got a 15-foot tower with a mast, and I had a 3-element tri-bander up there, and we shunt-feeded it. We fed the tower from the top, and boy, that made a beautiful vertical, and we received on the beverage, and you could hear us. You could broadcast just about anywhere.
Well, I've been experimenting with the beverages and the lots and all those things. All they seem to do is just attenuate the noise. I haven't seen any advantage on the signal to noise. Well, if you're using a vertical, yes, vertical is inherently noisy. But you have a horizontal loop. Compared to them, I haven't seen any advantage on the beverages. Maybe I'm not doing them right. Go ahead.
Hey, Gavin, I think you're doing it right, but the only advantage you're going to see is I'm working a vertical, a 160 vertical, and receiving with a beverage. That's how they fit. They don't seem to fit. A loop antenna is pretty quiet to begin with. If you want to knock down the noise, you can just use your attenuators. Just pad the signal, and you'll be doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because I've been experimenting with the beverages and logs and bogs for about 6 months. But I have a horizontal loop. I've been thinking of a vertical, 5/16 vertical with a folded counterpoint for 160 meters. I think I can do that here with the trees and height. But a lot of trees don't have much clear ground here. Go ahead.
Hey, Devin.
Yeah, there's a lot of experiments, a lot of good fun doing it. But in my experience, I've been kind of out of this for a while. But my experience is get that receiving antenna as long as possible, and feed it with a good coax, and terminate the end that you want to listen to, because they're very directional. And then you've got to transmit on a vertical antenna to see the difference, because the vertical is going to get out further. Loop's a good close antenna, 600, 700, 800 miles. That loops will work really well. And the dipoles are sort of in between. But play around with it, see what you can find.
Hey, Devin.
Go ahead. Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I needed, the article on the folded counterpoint.
Oh, did you get that article?
On the folded counterpoint, you're going to send that.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that. Let me make a note of that.
You guys carry on and have fun. I'm going to hit the sack. I've had a full day and got another full day tomorrow. 73 all, N1QWN, 100 watts. Catch you all later.
N1QWN, Whiskey 3, Henry Nancy.
Yep, you're coming in good, Tim.
Well, I cannot copy on the receive antenna, on the transmit antenna. I'm copying you on the log here. But, 10 over 9 near Albany, New York, over.
Well, as long as you can hear me. I know this MD200 is a little bassy. I think I might try to brighten it up a little bit, make it a little easier for you to hear me.
Yeah, roger. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Have a good evening there, and yeah, I can hear you on 5 watts with the log antenna, receiving antenna. I don't have the beverage hooked up tonight because I've only got one receive port. So anyway, the beverage is not pointed toward you. It's pointed southwest. N1QWN, W3HHN. Bye-bye.
Yeah, 73. When I first came on, I was on the 703, doing about, 5 to 6 watts, somewhere thereabouts. And it was a handheld microphone. It just gave some great quality. And you guys could hear me a little bit because I was getting you pretty good, and I think you were getting me just okay, but this proves the point that the antenna's working. But anyways, have fun, 73s, and have a good time hamming. N1QWN, 73s, good night.
73, good night.
All right, N1QWN, nice to talk to you. Well, the static crashes are very loud, so the audio gets lost in the noise sometimes. And the big crashes wipes everybody out. So it's a little unpleasant to listen to for a long time on those low powers. But it's a good signal here. Tim, nice to talk to you. I'll send you the article. I'll be getting off here. This is K1DSK, 73 everyone.
73 K1DSK, W3HHN, just line of 40 meters. I guess when he's out, he's out.
The crashes are 20 over here, 20 over easily.
And November 2, Echo Whiskey Mike at the top.
1930. WB2BYP, over. One, two, three, four. WB2BYP, testing.